Coach, you're a few weeks into practice. What are your thoughts so far, just on the team so far, this group so far this season?
Well, I think you can look at our group and you can see right now that maybe we have a couple of weight classes that you look at and you may be thinking now, are we going to win matches at these two weight classes? And you have to win matches to be competitive in dual meets. And so there's still a couple of weight classes there that we need to build up. We need to make sure that we recognize that it takes a real effort to win to be competitive in dual meets. As we saw last year, when you're down one or two guys, it's hard to win dual meets. And so I think the one thing that we need to do is we need to just make sure we're developing our weights. I see you go through our lineup and there's some uncertainty. You see some guys ranked anywhere from 10 to 20. I mean, that's where we can't be there. We got to be developing them into a position to be able to score points at the end if we're going to have some sort of success this season. So, I guess the theme for us right now is just let's develop. We got to develop guys. We got to go through a season. It's not going to be the first weekend to figure out. It's going to be the whole season. Guys are going to have to improve, and we're going to have to continue to really a really important year that we develop into a competitor that is successful at the end. And so that's our focus. That's my focus. Just we have to develop. I've gone through a lot of years and been in a lot of different positions with teams. This is a team that have no choice. We have to develop.
Coach, you had a couple of those guys that kind of struggled on bottom last year. Is there anything you guys have implemented at the early part of the season to kind of work on some of that?
That's a good. Yeah, we put a lot of energy in on the bottom, and it's not a matter. I mean, that's something that just can't happen this year. We go through a moment in time where you got a couple of people that's struggling getting off bottom, and you don't see any improvement. That's on us, as a staff. And so, not saying we won't see that, but we shouldn't be seeing it every week. And so those are things no different than getting takedowns, no different than getting taken down. We need to just make sure we're teaching and continuing to improve these guys with each week as we go through the season. It's probably an unusual schedule that you've seen. I mean, a little bit different than what you've seen in the past. Really competitive, and so with that, it gives us a chance to test ourselves against some better teams.
You talk about guys making those jumps and developing through the season. Who are some of those guys you could see making that early jump?
Well, you look at a few of the projected weights, and I don't want to really discuss who's going to be at what weight because we'll have ranking matches next Saturday and be closed to the public. But if anybody would like to go, they can just go through the office to see if there's some availability for them to go. Anyway. Let's wait and see who our lineup is. We likely are going to be young at a few weight classes. What I mean by young is 49, probably a young whoever starts there. Possibility of 41 again, more than likely, and 65 right now is a little bit of uncertainty for us. And, be real important that weight class we find someone, whether we're bringing them up or pulling them down. We need to find something there that gives us some stability. I mean, I think that's 65 and possibly heavyweight right now may be one of those two weights that we need is some stability right now. And what do I mean by that? Somebody that's competitive, you know, somebody that's going to be a competitor each and every week, you know, not getting blown out. I mean, you know, I think Doucette's definitely for sure starter, and you know, for the most part, he's wrestled some pretty competitive matches in his career, you know, and so I'm looking for his first opportunities to step out and start for us.
You know, you talked about all season long about emphasizing guys being tougher. What have you seen from this team early on, and does that team fit the tough mold?
I see a little bit more maturity than I saw last year, you know, and just some reality setting in. I think that some of the younger guys that we have right now on the team are threatening. They're threatening, and they're a real threat, you know. And so I think they want to wrestle, they want to start, and there's some older guys up the weight class that maybe have started in the past. Better get going. Got some pretty good kids, you know, that are hoping to kind of break through the lineup. So the one thing I see different from last year is that there's a little bit of a level of competition at several of the weights. You know, we're still pretty thin. I'd say I have 16 guys that can come in and out of the lineup in the month of November. You know, a lot of with some of the NCAA changes that allows for somebody to step in the lineup as a true freshman and not burn his year. We can see a little bit of that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Coach, to your point, I know you usually don't like to burn red shirts, but I mean, how does that new rule? I mean, how much does that new rule benefit you guys?
You know, I think you know, we're still waiting to get some information on it and making sure that we're right as we're moving through the process. So I'm going to just leave it at that.
Sure.
Because there's still some things I want to know about it before we move further with it. And I think what we know about it is right, but we need to just make sure as we go forward.
I know you said you wanted to go through ranking matches before you have a lineup and stuff, but it sounds like some guys are going to be moving up or down weights. How have you seen those guys?
Oh, I think you're going to see Trevor Mastro Giovanni at 25. You're going to see Zach Blankenship at 25. 33, we pretty much know who it is. You know, 41, I believe it's a very highly competitive weight class for us. From a standpoint of who's ranking in the room, you know, the matches. 49, don't know which way it's going. I would say that, you know, Victor Voinovich has had some pretty good start, pretty consistent to this point from the standpoint of training and working. I mean, he's a freshman that I like the fact that he's doing a lot of things following practice. And sometimes he's the only one doing extra things following practice. So those are things that you like to see. 57, it could be a range of guys. Let's just say Sheets is back and gives him an opportunity. We do have G. Feller back. G. Feller won't wrestle probably or even be in a position to wrestle until maybe the middle of December. So we won't see him anytime soon. Unless it's at a weight class like 57 or 65. You know, he's an old goat that, you know, that if we need to throw him out there to win a dual meet, we'll do that. Yeah. And so 65 is kind of an open weight. Just had plans for something different than what we're seeing. But as we finish some of our preseason workouts, just really felt like Travis Woodlake had the size that there was no need. I think part of some of our issues with him last year, maybe 65, has been something that he's kind of growing out of, and I'm not sure that some of the problems that his injuries wasn't caused by just making that weight each and every week. So we'll see him more than likely competing at 84, along with the Haas. 74, I think, is a pretty good indication of who we have. Will be the same with Plot. 97, Cerberus come down. Really is a real disciplined kid, and I'd like to. I thought it'd be a little bit more of a struggle for him, but really hasn't. I mean, just took 25 pounds off, and it was just too easy. You know, it should be a little harder than that. You know how hard it is for all of us to lose a little weight. You know, he just made it look way too easy. So he's felt it. You can see him in practice at times struggle a little bit because he's hitting new goals with his weight, and it's obviously lower. So as you hit those new goals and hadn't been down in 2 or 3 years, you feel it. But outside that, it's been a nice descent plan for him that he's done well. He's been eating good and keeping a good plan of keeping his hydration up and keeping food inside.
Is Goodfellas, going back to G, is obviously having him back is a kind of a pleasant surprise, but is he out due to injury, or is he out more for paternal duties?
You know, Caden G-Feller, 1 week after school started in August, he decided he wanted to wrestle again. And I'll just tell you this, he wasn't dieting over the summer. So maybe someday you can ask him. I'm not going to tell you what he weighed, but it was just a tad more than 149. I'll tell you that. And so, you know, a lot of it is his weight, wherever he decides he's going to fall in. And so anyway, just he was a little bigger than he needed to be, and it reminded him how quickly that can happen. You know, so hopefully after this season he doesn't go back to the mistake he made. So I don't know.
You talked a little bit about Luke's transition 97. Was that something the staff and you and him sit down and decided, or was that kind of his idea, or how did all that come about?
You know, he came to me and said, "You want me going 97, don't you?" I basically said yes. He said, "I'll go. I'll do it." It was that simple. You know, he just took the initiative to, you know, and that was pretty quick. You know, that wasn't something that took place in September. That's something that took place in July. You know, and so that's who he is. You know, he knew exactly what he needed to do for the team. It wasn't about him; it was about the team. And took the initiative to come and say,